Good afternoon, guys. Welcome back into my channel. So in this demo, we're going to create a network load balancer. So as you can see here, I have two web servers, server 1 and server 2. So both of them is running. Okay, so let's go ahead and just scroll down here and click load balancer, create. And down here, we have a network load balancer. Now, by the way, if you wonder, what is a network load balancer? Let's say in AWS. I mean, it's just the same on everywhere, but I mean, it's the same concept. It's just that the fact that we've doing this demo for AWS. So let's go on AWS website. So what is a network load balancer? So Elastic load balancing automatically distribute your incoming traffic across multiple targets, such as EC2 instances, containers, and IP addresses. In one or more availability zones, it monitors the health of its registered targets and routes traffic only to the healthy targets. So Elastic Load Balancing scales your load balancer as your incoming traffic changes over time. It can automatically scale to the vast majority of workloads. Elastic Load Balancing support the following load balancers: application load balancer, network load balancers, gateway load balancers, and classic load balancers. You can select the type of load balancer that best suits your needs. So now a network, so this explains the components of network load balancer. So load balancer serves as a single point of contact for clients. The load balancer distributes incoming traffic across multiple targets, such as Amazon EC2 instances. This increases the availability of your application. You add one or more listeners to your load balancers. To your load balancer, I mean, a listener check for connection requests from client using the protocol and port that you configure and forward requests to a target group. So this is an overview of network load balancer. Benefit of migrating from a classic load balancer. On there. So how to get started? Now let's just go ahead and name our load balancer. Let's call this NLB, which stands for network load balancer, NLB test. You could give it any name you'd like. I will let it be internet interfacing. As for scam, so on internet facing load balancer route request from the client over the internet to targets requires a public subnet. So now network mapping, the network load balancer route traffic to a target in the selected subnet in accordance with the IP addressing settings. So I can leave the VPC as default. Now I will go down here as mapping. So select at least one availability zone and one subnet for each zone. So we recommend selecting at least 2 availability zones. The load balancer will route traffic only to targets in the selected availability zone. So zones that are not supported by the load balancer or VPC, which stands for Virtual Private Cloud, cannot be selected. Subnets can be added but not removed once a load balancer is created. So I can choose at least 3 of the three of the zones. So I will put one on East US 1A, one on East US 1B, and I could put one on East US 1C. Now, scroll down a little bit. Okay, so now the listener and route. So a listener is the process that checks for connection requests using the port and protocol you configure. The rules that you define for a listener determines how the load balancer route request to its registered target. So we're gonna create a target group for this load balancer. So creating this target group. Okay, so we're gonna leave this as default, choose a target type. We're gonna leave this as instances, which is supports load balancing to instances with a specific VPC, facilitates the use of Amazon EC2 autoscaling to manage and scale your EC2 capacity. So I will leave that. I will scroll down here and give it a name as TG. Let's call it TG, which stands for target. NLB, which stands for network load balancer. So we're gonna leave this protocol TCP and leave it on port 80. Now, if you want to, you could choose different ones like HTTP, HTTPS, TCP, TLS, and UDP, whatever that meets your requirement. And whatever that you choose here would automatically designate the appropriate port number. Now, this is gonna stay as it is. The health check. Let's see if we click here. How about we make these 2 instead of 5? The health trench hold. The timeout, I will make this 2. The interval, I will make this 2 seconds. Everything looks like it's okay. So at this stage, let me just go ahead and click next. So interval must be an integer between 5. Okay, so let's make this 5 instead. Oh yeah, so it was down here. And these can be 2. So that's good. All right, so it looks like everything have been set in order and decency. Now we're gonna register targets. So this is an option steps to create a target group. However, to ensure that your load balancer rush traffic. So to create a load balancer, you have to have something that's why traffic to it. That's the whole goal and purpose of a load balancer, is to making sure that should one zone is down, the other zone is available to pick up as a backup plan. So it's just to eliminate one single point of failure. And especially a network load balancer is here for speed. Just like if you would, so these are a very fast option. When you selected a network load balancer, as I said on my previous video, a network load balancer is here for speed. It functions on layer 4 of the OSI model. Protocol is TCP. Layer 4, it's TCP. So it's here to route traffic in different directions. Let's say, for instance, if you used to take I-10 from the south, like in Texas, for instance, let's say, for instance, what the main goal of, the main beauty of load balancer is that it's like a traffic light that direct traffic to available lanes. So whenever there is an option to choose from, the load balancer would actually direct traffic to any zone that are available and avoid bottleneck in a particular lane. So let's just go ahead and select these. We're going to leave everything else as default, and we'll scroll down and just create target group. Now, as we're creating our target group, this one was already been there. Yep. We're gonna switch back over there. We're gonna refresh, and we're gonna select this. Now, what else do we need to do? We can scroll down and create our load balancer. So that's all there is into create a network load balancer with AWS. Now your load balancer has been created. It says its status is in provisioning. Now let's see if we can dive deep to certain questions that you may have. What is an AWS network load balancer? So a load balancer serves as a single point of contact for clients. The network load balancer, the load balancer distributes incoming traffic across multiple targets, such as Amazon EC2 instances. This increases the availability of your application. So what does network load balancer do? That's an interesting question. So the NLB feature distributes traffic across several servers by using the TCP/IP networking protocol. By combining two or more computers that are running application into a single virtual cluster. NLB provides reliability and performance for web server and other mission critical servers. Why do we need a load balancer? Why do we need a network load balancer in AWS? So network load balancer offers extremely low latency for latency sensitive applications. Network load balancer preserves the client side source IP, allowing the back end to see the IP of the client. This can be used by application for further processing. So these are the three types: load balancer, elastic load balancer versus network load balancer, NLB, failover cluster. So let's see if this will be on active states. So it looks like it's still provisioning. Let's click here. So we have a DNS name. That's what you will need to copy and just paste it into a new browser. Now lately, I don't know if it's because my machine is running slow. It's always take times before it can display anything. As you see this, it may not even work, even though you see that. I'm not sure if it's because my machine is running slow or anything in that nature. I'm not sure what the problem is. Now, status says it's provisioning. I'm not sure if it's because of that. Our load balancer is on 3 availability zones, so it's on East US C, A, B. And now let's click on the target group here and check the health of our load balancers. So the health, it's healthy. Unhealthy is 0, new 0. So it looks like everything is in good shape. So there is no reason that our load balancer should not awaken whatsoever. So let's just go back here. Let's scroll down. We could pick that up from here too, the overview. So even though that it's active here, I'm not surprised if it wouldn't work. Yeah, so my machine is either running slow or something is not right. But as for the procedures and the steps, these are all that you need to do in order to create a load balancer. So network mapping, everything looks okay. We have 3 we have assigned 3 availability zone into our load balancer. We can edit IP addresses type. We could monitor everything, monitoring. So active flow counts, and we have like integrations and attributes and tags. So guys, again, these are all the steps that respectfully when creating a load balancer. I appreciate you all follow along with me. Stay tuned for another live configuration. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.